How to sell more wine or spirits. 3 things you need, 3 things you don't. With very few exceptions, the number one request we get from our clients is to help them sell more wine or spirits. Given how outrageously competitive the wine and spirits categories are, this comes as no surprise. So today's video is all about 3 things that you really need to do if you want to take your sales to the next level, and 3 things you don't need at all. First on the list of things you need is patience. It seems like everyone needs more sales now. I get it. As a business owner, my number one concern is revenue. More sales equals more revenue. But more sales do not come by trying to do things faster or applying more pressure or spending more money. I know that's our natural tendency to want to do these things to make things go faster. But when it comes to sales, it's a get rich slow. Now the good news is you can get rich, but you have to have the patience to do it right. If you want to get aggressive about something, let it be the following. Eliminating spending on unscalable, low ROI activities. Prioritizing growth of your email list, both consumers and trade. Get aggressive about that. And ruthlessly leverage the 80-20 rule in everything you do. So if you're a type of person who does not have a lot of patience and you like to get aggressive and you see the world as, hey, all I have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, well, you're going to need to dial that back and understand how to be patient. And if you want to get aggressive, be aggressive about the things that are going to make a difference in your business, not the customer-facing stuff. The second thing you need is discernment, the ability to judge really well who you should listen to and who you should not. Now more than ever, you have to be super careful about whose advice you take when it comes to increasing sales. The biggest pitfall here is many things that used to work, even 5 years ago, no longer work or no longer work as well. I cannot tell you how many times I see a winery or distillery owner wasting time and money on investments and activities that some expert they talked to recommended. We're in an environment now where you really need to question everything you're doing, especially if it's something that used to work 10 years ago. There's a lot of activities that can be a waste of time because they're not scalable and they require the physical presence of a person. These things are expensive and just not scalable. So the bottom line here is you need discernment, and you probably need to talk to several different people to discern whether or not they know what they're talking about. For example, relying too much on distributors is a bad idea, and yet the industry is full of people who tell you, oh, just go get a really great distributor and they'll sell for you. This is just not true. This is an example of something that you need to have discernment for. Now, I know this seems really self-serving, but I would love to be that advisor for you, someone who has a wet finger in the wind, constantly looking at new and better ways to do things, and I'm not married to what used to work in the past at all, which is a good thing because my experience goes all the way back to the mid-80s. The third thing that you need to sell more wine and spirits is training. I look around and I see an incredibly acute need for more training. Training on modern technologies, training on a modern sales approach, which, believe me, is not about trying to convince someone how great your product is. As I look across the array of sales training options for our industry, and believe me, I've looked, I see a huge gap that's going unmet, but not for long. There are no shortages of training available to learn about the product itself, how it's made, how to enjoy it, etc. And there's certainly places to learn about selling wine direct to consumer. There's a lot of great support for this: tasting room sales, wine club sales, e-commerce sales. But I find most of that terribly out of date. The biggest gap I've found is around all things digital. Learning how to use modern tools and technology to dramatically accelerate sales. That's going to require commitment to getting yourself and your team properly trained. Stay open to the training, figure out what you need to get trained on, and focus on that. If you'd like more information about what to get trained on and where to go to get it, please check the description below. I'm going to include some very helpful links for you. Now let's talk about the 3 things that you really don't need, and yet you'll find them in abundance everywhere. The first thing on this list is persuasion skills. I know this seems counterintuitive, but selling isn't about persuasion. It's not about convincing someone how great your product is by talking about it till you're blue in the face. If there's one place where modern sales training falls short, it's around this idea that sales is about persuasion and overcoming objections and closing. Oh, there's lots of this training out there, and if you stumble upon it, you need to turn and run in the other direction. Because nothing could be further from the truth, which is this: the more you act like a salesperson, the less you're going to sell. That's the truth. Nobody likes to be sold to. This goes for the way you post on social media, the way you talk about your products on your website, and in the way you advertise. The sale should be merely a byproduct of a much larger relationship. A relationship based on putting the customer first and meeting their needs. If you've never been properly trained on how to sell, I highly suggest you start with Daniel Pink's book, To Sell is Human. It's one of the best modern sales books that I have read. Number 2 on the list of things that you really don't need, and this is going to shock a lot of people, is too much focus on your products. This is a horrible way to sell. You're never going to win any customers over to your products if that's all you do is talk about your own brand and your own company and your own products. This makes you just like every other person trying to sell something in a highly competitive category. Now, it's good to be obsessed with quality. You should be proud of your creations. But if in your sales efforts you put too much emphasis on the features and attributes of your product, you're going to sell a lot less of it. So spend less time trying to differentiate yourself and more time learning about who your customer is and what they want. And I'll give you some hints. They want experiences. They want to see and get to know, even if it's only digitally, the people and the stories behind the brand. They want to know you care about them and what's important to them, that you care about their journey as a wine drinker, as a spirits lover. To the degree you position your customer as the hero of their story and your brand as the guide who helps them succeed. You need to learn to position your customer as the hero of their story and your brand as the guide who helps them succeed. Otherwise, all you're going to do is be adding to the noise within the most competitive consumer product category on the planet. The third thing you do not need to sell more wine and spirits is an outbound sales strategy. Throw away the playbook that includes any kind of outbound strategies. What you want is an inbound strategy. You want to draw people to you. As a new and radically obsessed convert to HubSpot, I've been spending a lot of time getting trained on the next level of inbound strategy. It not only has reaffirmed what I already believe about success in sales, but it's teaching me how to optimize this powerful strategy. In short, inbound is a method, a mindset of attracting and engaging and delighting people that provides value and trust. You have to be helpful. It's the spirit of helpfulness. It's about giving, 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 not asking, asking, asking. Now, this does take some practice. I want to put a couple of links in the comment section below where you can explore this topic more deeply. But the bottom line here is stop pushing your story. Anything that is pushing stuff out into the world or providing some unsolicited invitation to try your product or to experience your winery or distillery operation. These are just adding noise. The way to sell is an inbound strategy, not an outbound. This idea that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, it's just a horrible sales strategy. I encourage you to immerse yourself in inbound methods as soon as possible and start reevaluating the way you are selling your products. Now, if any of this has resonated with you or at least piqued your interest, we would love to hear from you. We are about to launch the most ambitious training project that we've ever done in 8 years of business. It's called the Wine Sales Stimulator Membership Program. This is a private membership program, and if you want to learn more about it, you can just check out the link in the description below. But what I've done is taken all of my experience from a nearly 40-year career. I've gathered my whole team of experts together, and we've created 12 different classrooms to provide very specific training on how to increase wine and spirits sales. So if you want to just check it out and explore and see what's in the classrooms, just click on that link below, go to winesalestimulator.com. But we also have live coaching, 3 hours a week of live coaching, and we record all the sessions. You can submit questions to the experts and get answers as soon as possible. The other thing we have is a private membership community where you can communicate with other members. You can network with them. You have connections that they don't have, and vice versa. And if there's one industry where it really helps to swap connections, is this industry. We're all selling different products, unique products, but when it comes down to it, there's some safety in numbers if you get together with the right tribe of people. So I want to invite you to check that out. And as always, if you have questions, leave your questions in the comments section of this video, because I look at them all the time and I will answer right away. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell to get notified of new videos. Thank you very much for watching.